Hi, and welcome back to my room. So I hope I didn't upset anybody with my regret makeup. Again, that's just me. That doesn't mean everybody feels that way. But now I'm going to move to the fun part, which is my favorites for really like March and April, because I didn't get to do a favorites in March. It kind of got sideways. So I'm actually going to split it up into a couple of different videos because there's just so much that I want to talk about. So yeah, if you're interested in seeing what my favorite products were these past couple months, keep watching. Okay, I'm going to start with eyeshadow palettes, which is really hard for me because I consistently update my palette collection, and I don't get to use them tons and tons and tons. So I'm pointing out palettes maybe that I have used more than once, or that really stuck out to me when I got them, things that drew me in, palettes that I just really, really loved. And I have been just so impressed with. The first one I got in PR, the story behind her brand and her brand name is just so beautiful. And then she sent me PR, and she's a small brand, and I fell in love with it. She's such a sweet soul, and she deserves so much recognition. She actually has two of my favorite products this month, but I'm just going to show you the eyeshadow palette she sent me first. This is Labella Beauty. It is Italian for dragonfly, and it's such a beautiful meaning for her grandmother. This is her Bombshell palette, and it looks like this. The shimmers in this are magnificent. They are beautiful, and I loved them so much. And then she threw in these pops of just beautiful color. This is a beautiful dusty rose that worked wonderful as a transition shade. And even, I even did a natural look with it also, and just used this and a couple of the shimmer shades, and it turned out so beautiful. She is launching this summer, and you really just have to go check her out. I will link her down below. She is on Instagram, and she actually has a couple palettes out, and she will be launching, I believe she said July. So yes, check her out. It is wonderful. They are so pigmented, so beautiful, so buttery and creamy, and just all around just so beautiful, and it became a favorite as soon as I seen it. Another palette that I got and actually got to try out this month, and it actually started this new love that I didn't have before. With this brand I did, but with this particular thing, which is Makeup Revolution times Friends, I got the Forever Flawless palette. They also have them in smaller palettes. But I love the packaging on this. I think this is so fun and cool. It actually got me watching Friends like consistently every day on HBO Max. And so when I seen this, it had just launched, and it was just so fun that even if sometimes the packaging and the story behind it is enough for me, but then I used the palette and I really just loved it. The colors in it are beautiful. It has the umbrella imprinted on certain shades, like the matte shades. And it made such a beautiful look that I just really, really loved it. It was so fun, so beautiful. And then it got me watching Friends, and I saw episodes that I'd never seen before. Friends is not a new show, but it's a classic show. Oh my gosh, okay. So, when I seen that they came out with this, I believe they had a collaboration with Friends before, that I think I wanted to pick up like the Rachel palette. So this may be like a relaunch with the smaller palettes, but I don't think they had this one before, and they definitely didn't have it in this really cute packaging. So yeah, I don't know about y'all, but Makeup Revolution, they are doing such cool packaging. All the palettes that I have gotten lately from them have just been so cool and fun. But you can see like the palette itself is so beautiful, and I just really love it. The colors, Forever Flawless are some of the best eyeshadow palettes in my opinion, especially from Makeup Revolution. I think these are their best palettes. They retail for 15 bucks. They're beautiful, they are fun, and there's so many of them. You should go look. So my next favorite was actually an impulse buy. I watched Andrea talking about it on YouTube, and I love Samantha March. So when I saw that she was coming out with another collab with Ofra, I was like, oh, this bad boy is mine. The packaging is amazing. Even the box that it comes in, I saved it because it looks like a little notebook, and it's called Life is a Draft. This is the mini mix, and she mixed eyeshadows as well as highlights, and I believe this one, I think it's a highlight, but you could probably get away with this being like a glowy bronzer. But I was actually just loving this. I love purples, I love shimmers. Everything in this was so beautiful. I bought the PR box because it was just such a great deal. It came with 3 of her new lip glosses. I'm wearing one today in Peony. And then also just the aesthetic of it. You can always pop these out and put them into a magnetic palette. But why would you? Because this palette and covering and packaging is so good that I just love it so much. Samantha did such a good job. And it's just wonderful, and I really love her, and I'm so happy for her. And I find myself like just staring at it like, this is so cool. And I think the packaging I love as much as I love the shades in it, and it has become an absolute favorite for me. I'm so glad that I spent my money on it to get it all. So this is what it looks like. It's got, I think this is the newer highlight that she came out with. It's called Dream Chaser, and then 6, and then Key, and then of course all of the eyeshadow shades, perfect purples. They are beautiful. I'm so happy for Samantha, and I'm so glad that Ofra chose her to create this palette with, and it is beautiful. So my next favorite actually really surprised me. It's the first time that I ever tried this brand, and I just couldn't help it anymore. I had to try it. This is Melt Cosmetics, and I picked Millennial Pinx even though I wanted to buy She's in Parties, but it's still out of stock. I asked them when they were coming back, and they just said, we're working on it. So hopefully one day that palette will come back in stock because it's so beautiful. But this one is so my aesthetic. You'll see as soon as I open it. Just look how beautiful that is. Neutrals, pinks, shimmers, the dark on the end. It is such a beautiful palette. I love it so much. And actually this may be the first time in like a really long time that all of my favorites are not affordable makeup. I actually have some high-end things that really surprised me because I put myself in a box where I didn't want to purchase high-end makeup. I wanted to stay in my nice little cheap box, affordable box, and get more for my money. But at the end of the day, sometimes the quality of high-end makeup it can't be beat. As far as that goes, sorry. Colourpop is my absolute favorite affordable brand, and God, this is just so pretty. The colors in it are just like, they're so wonderful. And then they just came out with the Mary Jane, and I didn't purchase Mary Jane, but I didn't purchase Mary Jane because I just purchased the Glam palette from Natasha Denona, and I feel like they're a lot of the same color story, so I didn't purchase it. But I'm definitely waiting for She's in Parties. But just look at this palette. Is it not beautiful? And I don't even care that it says Millennial. So I have another one that actually surprised me. It is a palette that I thought about buying for a while, and when I mean a while, I saw it when it was getting ready to launch. I wanted to see what other people thought of it. I wanted to see the swatches. I wanted to see it being used. Because it is a bigger purchase. So I think about all my larger priced purchases that way, for the most part. But I really wanted to think about it. Was it a palette that I was going to use? Was it a palette that I could really enjoy? Or was it going to sit in my drawer and then in a year I was going to just destash it in my New Year destash? You know what I'm saying? So, but this is the Urban Decay Naked Wild West palette. I watched people use this for a while. And, excuse me. And I just kept looking at it. But the thing that throws me off, if a palette has a blue in it, it will throw me off so quickly. But I learned a trick that if you cover a shade up that maybe you don't like, would the rest of the palette work for you? Definitely. I even think that this kind of teal color here is really pretty. And this really isn't a blue. It's more along the teal side of things. It's a really, really pretty color. And I have a lot of fun playing with this one and using it and really having just tons of fun with it. So I think that this made it into my favorites because it shocked me. It surprised me, and I really, really, really loved it. Y'all, I really have so many palettes that I love, so it's really hard narrowing down favorites for me. But this one is another one that I had wanted for a while. This is the Colourpop. That is really annoying. Excuse me. This is the Colourpop off Melrose. I also got it in my birthday haul from Ulta. I don't even really think I have to say that much about this one. It's not a new release, but it's one that I wanted for a while, but I had to wait for my birthday because I am on a palette no-buy. So when I finally put this on, I just fell in love. The colors in it are so beautiful and so wonderful, but I don't expect anything less from Colourpop as it is. But it does have a couple Super Shocks in it, even a pressed glitter, and I just really love it. It is such a beautiful, neutral, everyday palette. And I think it retails now for $18. And I love it so much. I really love this color here, and especially this dusty rose color, and really all of it. And I actually surprised myself because I didn't use the pressed glitter when I used the palette. But I didn't use it because the look that I had already created was just so beautiful that I didn't feel like it needed it. My last palette that is in my favorites this go around, and it's because I couldn't pick just one, but this also is the one that I wanted the longest, that I waited the longest to get, and it's the Natasha Denona Love Palette. I love all my Natasha palettes, from the minis to the 5 pans to this size. I actually have all of these in this size now, and I love them all so, so much. I'm wearing this one today. I played with the purple and the red and the pinks, the 2 shimmers, this one and this one. So I get so much use out of this, and you can already see that I am getting a good bit of use out of it. And all my Natasha palettes look like this, and I feature this one because it is the one I chose to wear today. And it is just so beautiful. I love it so much. And this is what I would expect from a $65 price point, to fall in love with something where I want to gravitate to all the colors in the palette. And her formula, where Colourpop is my affordable makeup unbeatable brand, this is my high-end unbeatable formula brand. And it is so beautiful. Her shimmers are so wonderful. I love it so much. You can see it on my eyes today, but you can see how beautiful it just glides right on. It's a beautiful palette. All of her palettes are like this. I just love them. I love them so, 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 so much. I'm glad that I spent my $65 on these. I'm glad that I've spent my $48 on others and my $25 on others. She is just one of those brands that I did not want to buy because she was expensive. And at the end of the day, I am so happy I did, because they became some of my most favorite. That is all for my favorite palettes this month. I'm going to move on to some of my other products, which is still a lot. So I'm sorry that these videos are taking so long, but I'm trying to give you good, in-depth feelings of these things and why I love them so much. But if you want and you're interested, go to the next video and I will have my favorites of other products from these past couple months.